The Man Who Vanished into the Storm. The D.B. Cooper Mystery, November 23, 1971. A man walks into a storm. On a rainy afternoon in America's Pacific Northwest. On November 23, 1971. A man boarded a small commercial jet bound for Seattle. He carried nothing remarkable. A briefcase, a ticket, a calm expression. He sat quietly, ordered a drink, looked out the window, and performed an act so bold, so bizarre, that half a century later, the world still doesn't know who he was. A man who took $200,000 in cash, strapped on a parachute, and jumped into a violent storm, never to be seen again. His name, or rather, the name he chose, was D.B. Cooper, and this is the legend he left behind. Chapter 1: The Man with No Past. It began at Portland International Airport. A quiet man wearing a dark suit, white shirt, and black tie approached the counter. He bought a one-way ticket to Seattle. He paid in cash, and he wrote a name: Dan Cooper. No ID required, no questions asked. It was the 1970s, a world without scanners, without metal detectors, without suspicion. The flight crew later recalled him as polite, calm, almost gentle. He chose seat 18C, ordered a bourbon and soda, lit a cigarette, and watched the rain roll across the window. He looked like an average businessman. Nobody realized he was about to vanish into American legend. Chapter 2: The Note. Shortly after takeoff, the flight attendant, Florence Schaffner, walked past him. He handed her a small folded note. Thinking it was a phone number or a casual flirtation, she slipped it into her pocket without reading it. But the man leaned toward her and whispered, "Miss, you should read that note." She opened it. One simple sentence: "I have a device with me." Not a threat, not a panic. Just a statement. When she looked up, he quietly opened his briefcase a few inches. Inside, wires, lights, batteries. Something that looked dangerous. Then he said, "It won't be used if everyone stays calm." A calm storm had just begun. Chapter 3: The Demands. He told Florence to write down his requests. $200,000 in cash. 4 parachutes. A refueling truck waiting in Seattle. No police near the plane. The pilots relayed the message to the ground. Passengers still had no idea anything was wrong. He ordered another drink. He tipped. He was polite. One flight attendant said, he was the most courteous man on the plane. When asked if the plane could circle Seattle, to give FBI more time to prepare the money, he said calmly, "Take as long as you need." This was not chaos. It was choreography. Chapter 4: The Exchange. The plane landed in Seattle. The lights were dimmed. Windows shut. FBI agents delivered the cash and parachutes. Cooper checked the money. Neatly stacked $20 bills with recorded serial numbers. He allowed all passengers to leave. He even insisted the crew give them meals. Then, with only a few flight attendants left, he made his next demand. "We're going to Mexico City." But his true destination was nowhere on the map. Chapter 5: Into the Storm. The plane took off again. This time, flying unusually low, flying unusually slow, with all cabin lights off. In the middle of a thunderstorm, Cooper sat at the back of the aircraft, fiddling with the parachute straps. Tie removed, shirt sleeves rolled up. Somewhere over the dense forests, between Washington and Oregon, the pilots felt the plane lurch. A warning light came on. The rear airstair had opened. And then, thump, a sudden shift in pressure. A gust of freezing air. And just like that, he jumped. No spotlight, no witnesses, only wind, darkness, and a violent storm. The man known as Dan Cooper disappeared into the night sky. Chapter 6: The Search That Found Nothing. Authorities unleashed. One of the most extensive searches in FBI history. Helicopters, soldiers, tracking dogs, divers, mountain rescue teams. They combed forests, rivers, cliffs. They found no parachute, no clothing, no equipment, no remains, no money. It was as if the storm simply swallowed him. For years, investigators argued he couldn't have survived. No one could land safely in that storm. Not in that terrain. And yet, 9 years later, a young boy digging near a riverbank found $5,800, rotting, waterlogged, but confirmed through serial numbers as Cooper's ransom money. A clue, but not an answer. The rest of the cash was never found. Chapter 7: The Ghost of the Pacific Northwest. Who was he? More than 1,000 suspects were investigated. Ex-military parachutists, airline employees, escaped criminals, adventurers, recluses, people claiming to be the real Cooper. None matched. Every lead collapsed. Every confession fell apart. Cooper became more myth than man. A symbol, a ghost, a puzzle with no final piece. Chapter 8: Theories that refuse to die. There are 3 major theories. 1. He didn't survive. The storm, the altitude, the terrain. Survival would be nearly impossible. 2. He survived and escaped. Some believe he was an expert jumper, with a detailed escape plan, and someone waiting on the ground. The missing money supports this. 3. He became a legend on purpose. Some say Cooper never cared about the cash, that he wanted to vanish, leaving a question mark where his name should be. A reminder that some mysteries don't want answers. On November 23, 1971, a quiet, unremarkable man smoked a cigarette, drank a bourbon, and stepped into a storm, and straight into American folklore. No motive, no identity, no trace, just a name that the world will never forget. D.B. Cooper, a man who vanished, not just from a plane, but from history itself. If this mystery pulled you in, drop a in the comments. Tell me which legend or real-life mystery you want next. And don't forget to like and subscribe, because some stories only grow deeper with time.